Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're first going to start off with a welcome from our sponsor. So Doug Powles from Minburn Communications is here. And then we're going to try to keep this short and sweet within an hour. So fingers crossed that we can all do that. I don't know. We're all a bit of talkers. So enjoy your lunch, and then we'll get started and run through. We've got 4 presentations to give you an update on our community. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynsi. Well, under the theme of keeping it short, my name is Doug Pauls. I'm from Minburn Communications. Many of you may know my predecessor, Deb Luke. Deb is retired now. She's been a friend of mine for 30 years, so really great to see her step into retirement. We have a lot going on here as Minburn Communications. We're building our rural fiber network around Perry right now. Of course, we already have the network in the business district of the city of Perry, and of course, we're building a lot of areas south of here, which don't necessarily relate to any of you, unless you happen to relate or live that direction. So anyway, just wanted to tell you about that. That's underway. We're glad to be able to sponsor it. We're super glad to see such a great room, hear these updates about that are going on in the community. So at that, I will turn it over to, I believe, Sven, who's up next.
Thank you.
All right, we ready? Okay, well, I want to say 2 thank yous. First, well, now 3. First, thanks to Lynsi and the Chamber for putting this on. I think this is an incredible opportunity to get a group of people together and talk about what each of our organizations is doing in the community and for the community. So thanks to Lynsi. Second, thanks to the hotel for hosting with a wonderful lunch. It's always great to be able to meet in a space like this. And third, thank you to each and every one of you for making the time to come today and learn about what's going on in the community from each of these organizations. I know it's one that there's always a lot of stuff going on in the backgrounds, and being able to get out in front of a group of folks like this and talk, maybe not be as quite as Iowa nice and do a little bit of bragging on some of the stuff we have going. But thanks for making the time today. It's appreciated, I know, by myself and probably all of the presenters today. So, all right. So first, I want to start out with the City of Perry's core values. We established these a couple of years ago, going through the EOS process, which is the Entrepreneurial Operating System from the book Traction. So city staff has been operating on Traction for about 3 years now, and it's been very beneficial to us. So we established these core values for our city employees and just the way the city operates as a whole. So strong work ethic, problem solving, community-oriented, professionalism and integrity, being a team player, being accountable, and being a good steward. And that's being a good steward of the public funds we're entrusted with, as well as the time and the projects that we're doing for the community throughout all of our work. One of the projects this spring that Parks and Rec did, they have been very busy and quite a bit of bragging on them. They had the basketball court at Weiss Park resurfaced with a sport court. So very much spruced up, new basketball hoops, really adds a little bit of pizzazz to Weiss Park there. Of course, with the solar panels covering the high trestle trail in the background, but just adds a really nice touch, really spruces up that area for not only the folks here in town that use that facility, but also really making a nice impression to the visitors coming in through the high trestle trail each, hopefully, day. So another project, man, time is lost with 2 little kids, but a few years ago, the American Legion group in Perry donated the Legion Hall to the city. And we had some conversations about what we wanted to do with it. How could we use this space? Is it something for operations? And what we really landed on was creating it kind of back into what it was originally, really being a community space. So Parks and Rec crew, the maintenance folks, as well as our AmeriCorps volunteers that we had last summer, have been spending a ton of time renovating this facility. It'll be available for rentals for graduation parties, baby showers. My wife has already told me she wants to have one of our boys' birthday parties here, so I'm already on the list. It was pretty dated when we first walked in, but like I said, that crew did a fabulous amount of work and has really spruced that up into a great community space. And again, we had a group of about 9 AmeriCorps volunteers last summer, and this was one of the projects that they helped us with, so we're very grateful that we had them last summer as well. Another new project also with AmeriCorps and Parks and Rec Maintenance, Public Works Departments. They put up this building down in Pattee Park by the dog park for an indoor training facility, athletic training facility. So they have batting cages in there. I believe they're going to have some golf tees set up so you can hit golf balls. I don't know if anybody in here golfs. Clark might be here somewhere. So really tried to, the Parks and Rec Department really tried to make it as multi-use as possible. So year-round, it's heated and cooled. There's a bathroom in there, whether it's for group practices. I know softball, Little League has already been utilizing that quite a bit. So it's really a great opportunity to have a year-round space for the community to be able to, whether it's adults or kids at heart in the bodies of adults like Jeff, we have a space that can be utilized for that. So wonderful project and opportunity. And this is one that was pretty scrappy by our Parks and Rec Department and maintenance. They did all of the construction, poured the concrete, got utilities there, and they were able to make this happen pretty much in-house. So we have a phenomenal team that's very, very talented, and this is just a small piece of what they can do. One of our larger projects that we have coming up should be bidding in about the next month is our downtown revitalization project. So this will be reconstructing the alleyway behind Wells Fargo from Lucinda to Warford, reconstructing the parking lot right there on the corner of Warford and First Street, and then reconstructing 2 blocks of Warford from First to Third, and then Second Street from Willis to Warford. This project, I think, altogether is coming in, the estimates are around $4 million, and we have secured what I refer to as the alphabet soup of project funding. So 4 or 5 different sources of project funding for this, and it's approximately 80% grant funded at this point. So hoping to possibly have this construction getting started this fall and moving into next spring, summer. All that really depends on the contractor that gets the project and their capacity and how big of a project they're able to take on all at once. So again, excited about this. It'll kind of help connect some of those projects that we've done previously and set us up well for future projects moving upstream from some of those wastewater lines and storm sewer, new water lines. So great infrastructure investment and really will spruce up those sections of downtown. And I'm very sorry to say, whoever is a huge fan of that Wells Fargo alley, I'm sorry, but it's going to be smooth. So, it's just part of the process. Loss is part of that. So no more calls about flat tires and bad leaf springs for me, I guess. So we earlier this year applied for a transportation alternatives grant, which is really centered around trails and sidewalks within the community and making connections. So this year we applied for a new trail from Iowa Street, right where the new wetland has been established, along Iowa Street to 18th, and then up 18th to Warford Street, which north of Warford will connect into the schools, trails, and sidewalks. We see quite a few kids walking along 18th Street. Some of the properties have sidewalks, some don't currently. So this will be able to help us create a safer environment for kids to get to school. And then beyond the middle school and high school, there's also a trail that connects over to the elementary school. So a great opportunity to take advantage of some of those state funds to help build some of that trail. This is kind of one of those first phases, or a 10th phase of working on trails and sidewalks. So we have other connections in town that we want to make and improve pedestrian safety. I know First Street's on our list, more of Willis is on our list. So this will make a nice improvement in this area. And then finally, we have been working on a strategic plan called the P.O.W.E.R Next Strategic Plan for thinking about what the future holds for Perry. So we started this last fall with some community roundtables led by Drake University, just trying to get input, really focused on what does life look like, what does Perry look like post-Tyson closure. So we have been focusing on a few really key strategic areas of economic growth, parks and recreation / quality of life, housing and neighborhoods, business attraction and retention, and education in schools. Really looking at where are we at currently? How do they all connect, play together? And then how can we help everybody get on the same page and move in the same direction, moving forward and reestablishing that loss of employment and hopefully coming back stronger than ever. So I think that was my last slide at 10 minutes. Thank you, Eileen. Round of applause for Eileen. And I think questions at the end? Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Clark Wicks, Superintendent at Perry Community Schools. Proud to be a Blue Jay. And also, just have a bone to pick right away. Where's Lynsi? Lynsi was she talked to me, the only speaker, said, Clark, you have 1 minute. I said, 1 minute? I thought it was 10. All right, we can go 5. I said, 5 minutes, I can do it in 5. She said, Clark, you have 10. So I'm looking over here. We'll get it under 10. All right? Hey, first off, I want to talk a little bit about the month of May at Perry Community Schools. Month of May. A lot of activities. Shared some pictures, and you go, we're all about teaching and learning and playing. All right? This was a fun day picture at Perry Elementary School. It was supposed to be outside, but because of the weather that was coming in, and the kids had an absolute ball. And there's some volunteers out there that are still sore from that day of helping out. So thanks to all those people. But this is in the elementary gym, but look how high some of those play structures, they go all the way to the ceiling. As far as I know, we didn't have any injuries. And the kids, some of the comments that the kids had was, it was the best day ever. They loved it. The volunteers, not quite so much, but they still thought it was a good idea. So, all right, next up, just another shot of the different slides that were there. It was unbelievable. Still, a month of May, a different day. We have track and field days. So here's a picture of some of the kids with our track and field day. It was a beautiful day out there at Dewey Field. Next picture, another picture of our fun day, taking pictures. We did this one. And I tell you what, you get on one of those horses and you try to model that for the kids. All right. We only modeled it once. And then after that, Mr. Mankey was with me, so I had him model it after that. But kids had a great time. Okay, next up, this was kindergarten. If you've ever been to kindergarten and pre-K fun day, I tell you what a great sight. Kids are active, moving and grooving. Another beautiful day in May. This one, first year for this, where they honored all of the 59 student athletes that were seniors. So they had just a formal delivery to honoring the 59 student athletes. And here they had a red carpet. Brock Sorensen is the MC here. And you get an idea that they had pictures of all the kids and the nominees, and they had everything from best athlete to one that maybe was most with perseverance, gritty. They had all sorts of different awards. So they touched upon a number of different people. So that was really cool. Tina Luderman, our AD, organized that, and it will be a continuing event. So very nice job on their part. Graduation, 151 seniors graduated at Perry. This is a picture, not of our graduation site, but after we practice on Friday, they go to Perry Elementary, and it's really kind of a cool setting. Everybody is lined up in the hallways, as you can see, and all of the kids are giving high fives or fives to all 151 graduates. And there are tremendous smiles, of course, across, the little kids and seeing the graduates. But you know what? I think the graduates get more out of it. They're the stars of the program, and it's kind of cool for them. So they walk down all of the different hallways from kindergarten through fifth grade. So it's a neat sight. Here's another angle of the kids walking through Perry High School. So again, we went from practice. They went through Perry High School, all lined up. They got on buses, then went to Perry Elementary. What else do we have? There's a picture from a side angle, and you go, gosh, that was kind of a funny picture. But I took that because the straight on, I couldn't get everybody in there. So I just took it from the side of the 151 graduates. And Brad Snogren, our principal, did a great job of getting that organized. Our counselors and all the staff, maintenance staff. So there's our 151 graduates. All right. Hey, next coming up here in May, take a look here. We have a retirement open house in case you guys want to go to another little gathering. June 16th, we have Mary Hillman. She's been here for 25 years with the PACES program. Kemp Bultman, our financial guru, and Kevin Vittiger, Director of Teaching and Learning. So I think between the three of those, there's close to 70, 75 years of experience. So kind of cool. All right, next up here in May. Is that it? All right. I'll continue. 5 minutes. All right, here we go. So summer highlights. Perry Elementary will be adding to our playgrounds, but first we have to demolish a couple. And I tell you what, I'm kind of sad a little bit because way back when I started in 89, or I think it was 89, about 1992, we built Perry Elementary. And now all these things that have to get done to it and go, oh my gosh, how can that possibly be? So anyway, the playgrounds, I don't know if any of you guys were involved with it, but we put up 2 playgrounds, and we had a group of farmers. I don't know if Gary was involved with that. Jeff, you weren't even born probably then, but anyway. So these horses, all right, came out, and there was about 5 or 6 farmers who said, we can do this. So we put up 2 playgrounds, and we dug, I bet, 150 holes into that place. And I hate to say it, but this week, it's going to get demolished. So we're going to put up 2 new playgrounds. And the problem is, folks, when things break down, you got to have parts, right? Well, Matt Hicks, our director of maintenance, saying, Clark, they don't have these parts anymore. And it kept happening and happening. So safety is obviously vital for us. So 2 new playgrounds, you're going to see that going up. That's going to be part of our $10.2 million project as we take Perry Elementary to a whole nother level now. It's going to, from the ceiling to the floors. We're also going to be adding a little bit. Out front, we'll have 3 new classrooms, and that's going to happen then these next 2 years. So the playground piece in the front, you'll see another playground. In the back, there'll be another playground. So we are going to do just what I started off. We're going to learn how to not only teach, learn, but we also, important part of life is learning how to play. All right, have a little fun. So that's going to be coming up this summer. Also, I won't hand it out right now because does that mean I have 8 minutes left, or is it just, okay, just checking on that math. Strength and conditioning, strength and performance. We've talked a lot about that at Perry Community Schools. Big believer in this. We need to be competitive, but to be competitive, you have to be able to be strong, you got to be quick, and you have to have strong, confident athletes. So we've had what's called ETS for a while, but now Tina Luderman and our coaches have been tremendous in this summer program that we're going to have right now. The reason I'm bringing it up to you guys, I'm going to be handing something out as far as sponsorship. And one thing that they're going to do is have the kids, all right, the kids are going to go to various people. So I'm giving you forewarning on this. Right now, we're going to have a little problem here, but I'm going to take this out. No, I'm not. I'll just hold it up with my strength. I'll start practicing that right now. So you may get asked by one of the student athletes to sponsor them. Well, what's that mean? So there's going to be a big lift-a-thon come July. They're going to test people at the very beginning and then in July. And if you sponsor them in either bench, squat, could be one other thing too that they're going to be testing. And then if you donate or sponsor $1 a pound. So if I took all of you guys right now and we're going to bench press, and let's say you got up 100 pounds, all right? But by the end of the strength and conditioning, you're at 150, okay? Tremendous, 50 pounds. So if you give $1 for every pound, be donating $50. We'd like to have everybody here in this to donate $1,000 for every pound. All right. And see, because I've already told them, I said, hey, it's not coming out of the general fund. We've got a little financial challenge that we're working on. But we are very proud of the people that have got that thing organized and already some sponsorship. Look for that. And now I'm at my 10-minute mark, but I am going to, I guess I'm going to stop right there. Want to make sure I had it up. All right. Great to be a Blue Jay. Thank you for your support. Even since January 4th of 2024, when I stood up here, all these cameras, all that publicity. But the thing that was the greatest was the tremendous support that we got from you guys. Thank you. Jeff, I think I ruined this, but go ahead. Come on up.
Yeah, it's not in the city's budget to fix that, apparently, Sven. I was going to get made fun of today, so I left them at home. Okay, so you know the saying, they saved the best for third. So, yeah, welcome, Perry Power Hour. So, I'm Jeff Huitt. Go ahead next. Did you guys jazz up my slides, Lynsi? Chris?
It's all you.
Okay. So as you can see, here's our agenda, and we'll go through that very quickly on the other slides. I remember 1999 being the last time I made a PowerPoint. My buddy Joe says it was sometime in the 2000s. I don't remember that, so I had to figure that out. And Clark, I moved to town in 1978. That's when I was born. So again, as you can see here real quickly, this is my wife, Nikki. Nikki is a scientist, research scientist down at Corteva in Johnston, originally from Stewart. We have our children. We have Lane, Luke, and Lindy. And I know what you guys are asking. That is not a real mustache. He's 8. So I'm a farmer, born and raised here in Perry. A lot of you probably know my folks, Gary and Sorella. Mom taught here for 34 years. My dad ran the buses for 22 years. I'm super proud of where I came from, and so are they. So it's fun being part of town, not maybe the education sector, but in a volunteer capacity. Business owner, so I own part of Tri-County Ag out on the east end of 141 and 169 with three other owners, and have been PED president for I think 2 years now, and on the board since 2020, something like that. Bill Clark was the one that recruited me for that. So our mission statement at Perry Economic Development is, as you can read there, we partner with the city and others. We're a catalyst organization that supports and facilitates the sustainable growth and development of the city. Go ahead, Chris. And, our vision statement is, and this is all on our website, that Perry is a progressive, financially viable, diverse community. We advance the financial, social, and environmental well-being of our citizens and businesses. And we are development-ready, technology-savvy, entrepreneurial, and innovation-friendly. Go ahead, Chris. So just a little bit about our group, because, we don't know what we don't know. We get told that all the time, right? We don't know what we don't know. And part of this Power Hour is that we're trying to figure other things out. So we're currently a 17-member board that's voting. We have 16 permanent guests that are non-voting. Again, I serve as the president. I always throw in that I wasn't at the meeting where they voted on that. So that's what happens when you miss a meeting. Jason Levan is our vice president. Darren Lindstrom is our treasurer and does a phenomenal job. Eddie Diaz is our secretary. Scott Finesis is our attorney, and past president is Matt McDivitt. So recent developments. Hey, we have a new tenant coming to town in 2025. So an Italian axle company called ADR is coming to Perry. It's making its first U.S. headquarters in the United States, and that's in Perry, Iowa, and that's big. These guys have got 14 locations around the world, and we will be their 15th. From what I understand, they have a little distribution center, I think, in Georgia, but this is where there's going to be some things happening in town. And as you can read, they're $14.3 million for a 54,000 square foot building. Jobs created 35 to start with. I think that's going to move to 80, 85 within a couple of years. And some of those qualify for high paying, which would be $31.10 an hour or more. An interesting tidbit about that: when we met with them initially, one of our brokers happens to be Jackson Van Kirk's brother-in-law. And they said, we really want to figure out how we can utilize the community on a local level. And, we really need to find a foundry in Iowa. And Jordan says, well, my brother-in-law's got one 2 blocks from here. And we invited you over for lunch, and we had a wonderful meeting with them. And these people are the people we want in town. They're going to be a great addition to our town. So stay tuned on that. I think they're coming next week for a visit to finalize some things. M&R Properties is a flex space leasing company. So they've got a couple other places in, I think, Nevada and maybe Norwalk, where they do build outs of buildings, more of a built to suit. The one that's coming to Perry is going to start out as a 12,000 square foot building, and that's expandable. So they could have as small as, Matt, what's the smallest that they want to do? 1,500, and then it can expand on up to there. So one of the beauties of this job is if we have somebody that comes and looks at the spec building, for example, and they find that building is too big, we can help marry them up with something else in town. And that's what we're working on for this M&R Properties project. So we're moving along on that. There's a few things that go back and forth to get all these things meshed together, but hopefully we'll see some activity on that here in June. Guthrie County REC, there's some ground out there that they procured to set up currently a 5 megawatt building, and it's expandable, and we're working on some of those expansions as we speak. And then we all know about the new Casey store that was put up in 2024. Go ahead. So looking at that speculative building project, that was completed in 2022, 30,000 square feet shell building. Again, it's expandable, it's customizable. It's on 5+ acres. Steve Menz and his crew were the ones that built that. And we've had many showings on that. And it's interesting. When you're putting up a spec building, you are in fact speculating on what you might need. And so if the needs of that building doesn't fit the current person looking at it, then we try to make adaptations and maybe find a home for them. still try to keep them on the hook, right, and have them come to Perry. So a lot of interest in that. I think it's one of maybe just one or maybe two in the whole state of Iowa, and that will sell. That will sell sometime very soon. Infrastructures and certification. So we are a certified site out there. I think currently we're at about 150 acres on our certified site, and we're moving into a phase that's going to put us a little over 300 acres. That's kind of a process, and you don't know what you don't know, but they do a lot of different things when it comes to that. They're looking at environmental, cultural, and wetlands. So it's all basing it to be shovel ready. They don't, a builder, a company doesn't want to come in and have to do all those steps because it just really lengthens that process. So we're trying to bridge that gap, and that's a cost. From P.E.W.E., city, other partners, we chip in, and even some other adjacent landowners, they chip in to get that shovel ready to make us more attractive. What is our economic impact? So I look at the major employers that we have out there. We have Personal Scientific, who just won a national award, SBA national award. You probably saw that in the local papers. ITC Midwest, Highline International, TCB companies, who actually made this shirt. Job growth. We support high quality jobs and economic stability, and our partnerships. And I named some, this is not all, but the City of Perry, the Greater Dallas County Development Alliance, the Iowa Economic Development Authority, Iowa Area Development Group, Alliant, Mid-AM, and Mid-American Communications. Doug, thanks again for your sponsorship today and your leadership. And then, also Perry Economic Development played a major role in the fundraising for the building that we're sitting in today. We started that process, and it was the first year that I was on the board in 2020. We had to decide what we were going to do and how we were going to go forward with it, and we raised a lot of funds to hand that off to the city. And I know personally I'm very proud to come in here. Nikki and I try to use this on a regular basis and come in and see the local people that are here. We hold a lot of meetings here, and I think that we all take for granted a little bit this beautiful hotel that we have in town to host people, because we can really brag on it. It's beautiful. Go ahead. So we look at future opportunities and, available land. We have ample space for new tenants. So what this picture in the top right is showing is current-ish certified sites with additional acres, but specifically for P.E.W.E. is the 28 acres there in the northeast corner of this map. So that'll be the next thing that we work on getting kind of a generic site plan on, so we can look and see how that might be modeled. But the rest of the park, with ADR purchasing 2 lots, we have a company on the hook for the south lot, and we also have the expansion of the megawatts for Guthrie County REC. Our current park's filling up. That's a good thing. So ample space for new tenants, a thriving industrial park. I'm a firm believer that momentum builds momentum. When one thing happens out there, people cabbage onto that next thing, and we are cooking with gas right now. Our Bolton and Mink engineer, he had called me up about a month and a half ago. He says, "What is going on at Perry?" And I said, what do you mean, James? He goes, "I have put together so many different proposals for things that are looking at coming to town or that are going to come to town." And, I told him, and I was being honest, I said, it's probably the president. So then we have our ongoing plans would be continuing with our High Trestle Trail connection, and then also housing development. And I swear that picture was smaller and it had development in it when I made it. But again, 1999. What else we got here? So I guess questions will be at the end, but there's my thanks. And was that about perfect? All right. Thank you.
All right. I am Lynsi Pasutti with the Perry Chamber of Commerce, the executive director for the last 7 years. And I think back to all that I have seen in 7 years, and I'm just so proud of how we work together day to day to make things happen. And so with the Chamber of Commerce, small print, but we exist as a nonprofit business association. Many of you are members. Thank you very much for that. All to support our business members as well as the community. So our 3 focus areas are member promotions, community positioning, and destination marketing. So as you would expect that to be, It is supporting our member businesses and organizations, supporting our community, and tourism as well. And so we have a 12-member board, all representing business members, and trying to have a variety of those present. So we have different perspectives when we're working on bringing events in or doing activities. We want to make sure we're serving our community. So just a couple highlights. So if you joined us at our annual dinner or you check your mail when we do membership renewal, some of these stats are pretty familiar. So we have 150 members, 12 new this year. We've had four ribbon cuttings already in this fiscal year. And then 46 are chamber champions. So that means that they're above and beyond their basic membership to support the community even more so with their sponsorship of events. We do a lot of different things, and every day is different at the chamber, which is what makes it so exciting. One of the things that we do is meant to highlight what our members are doing. And so one of the things that we do is our community calendar. And so we're talking about development and everything going on, but we have so many great things that happen, whether the chamber is doing it or our members. And so on our website, which is still a work in progress, but we have our member directory, our community calendar, and our job board. And so just some stats from last year, we had almost 400 member events on our community calendar. It means there's a lot of things going on all the time. We had more than 13,000 event page views. So people are actually looking there and finding out ways to get involved and things to do. We had 76 jobs posted last year and more than 3,000 views. So obviously last year is a little bit different. So those numbers are maybe higher than normal, but these are how we are supporting our members getting the word out about what they're doing and what their needs are. Go back one more. Sorry, Chris. And then another thing we do with our chat sheet. So chamber happenings around town, it's a way to get the word out about what's going on. So we have more than 300 people that get our emails every week. And we have paper copies of that as well. And I tell you that all so that you can make sure to check your emails, know what's going on, show up for our fellow members. And that is, if you'd like to be on the list and you aren't already, let me know. We can print out paper copies so that you can help spread the word about what we're doing. There's merchant events, there's free movies. I mean, there's just so many things that our members are doing, which is great. And then lastly, sorry, same slide, lots of information. P.O.W.E.R. This is something that we do to support shopping local, dining local. So some facts and figures, more than $10,000 purchased in P.O.W.E.R. last year. About 8,000 were redeemed by members. So this, if you don't know, is just a reminder that you can buy P.O.W.E.R. in $5 and $10 increments, and they can be spent just as cash at our member businesses. Members then bring those back to get redeemed, but it's just a great way to support local businesses and keep those dollars local. And so just a reminder, they don't expire. So if you do the math that there's $2,000 still floating around just from last year, dig in your junk drawers and find those P.O.W.E.R. and spend them locally. And so member businesses, you can spend those out. Okay. So thinking about updates and projects going on, it would seem weird to me not to highlight some things from the last year. So RVTV, I hesitated on even putting this up because it got people so excited last year. It was a one-time event, just so that you know. But it was a great way to bring everyone together, and the chamber played a big role in that. Perry Economic Development, the city coming together to celebrate together. And last year was a tough year for everyone, but we were able to put something on to enjoy. And same thing with P.O.W.E.R. I know this is a love-hate with this event because it brings a lot of people in. It's kind of a crazy weekend. But that is our biggest fundraiser of the year for the chamber. Membership is great, but that's not what keeps the doors open and staff here. So P.O.W.E.R. is one of those events. We bring in 1,100 people that are here for that day, that weekend, spending money in town, enjoying the area for the last 48 years. So we had lots of registered riders and then even more counted on the road. So just a success from this past year. Upcoming events. So my big call to action today is really to get out and be a part of the community. Thank you all for joining us today. This is all about helping us spread information and give updates and show our partnership together, that we're working together. We couldn't do this just on our own. All of these events take sponsorship, take volunteers, and take people just showing up to be there to be a part of the count. So upcoming events we have this Friday is Friday Fest with Ruckus, live music, bring your own baskets, kids activities. Come enjoy the start of the summer. 4th of July is on Friday, 4th of July. So we have parade, food vendors, fireworks. We just wrapped up our last fireworks drive this week. So thank you all for your support for that, whether it's the pie auction or the big boom bracket battle. Radio pie auction was in April, and we just had the grocery bill roundup this last week. So $18,000, and we're literally going to blow it up on 4th of July, but it's something that people really enjoy, and it takes all of us to fundraise for that. And then later on, we have the July 18th, 2nd Street Block Party. This is another chamber fundraiser. So it's $5 entry. We have great bands downtown, street dance. And so I'm, again, calling this out so that you can find ways to get involved, sponsor events, show up, and be a part of our community. And then someone mentioned golf earlier, chamber golf outing. We brought that back a couple years ago. I think it was the businessman's golf outing at some time. There's some weird name for it, but chamber open golf outing. So you don't have to be a chamber member to participate in this. Come join us for a fun day. It is a 9-hole or 18-hole day. Another fundraiser for the chamber through the foundation. And then lastly, farmers markets starts next Thursday, 4 to 7 p.m. We have really grown this event over the last 7 years, and I'm really proud of it, to showcase local vendors, to be a platform for our members to engage with the community, and then also to help with food insecurity in our community, which leads into the next slide. So I'm taking time to mention this because food insecurity is a problem, is an issue in our community, and whether you see it every day or not, whether you experience it yourself, knowledge is power. And so for having resources at your fingertips, knowing information to share information, that's what this luncheon is all about. We, at the chamber level, facilitated 4 different alternative currency programs at our farmers market to the tune of $9,000. So that is alternative currencies that individuals are using to spend with our vendors, and then the vendors are redeeming with us. And that does not include farmers market nutrition program, those vouchers for seniors and WIC. But a huge thank you to the food pantry, $4,000 more than last year, the previous year, for those customers to be getting additional dollars to spend at the market on fruits and vegetables. We had Iowa PBS Kids come out last summer to do early literacy programs and to give kids market bucks to spend at our market. And then the other part of that, since 2020, we have been a SNAP certified market. That means that individuals can use their SNAP benefits at our market. They swipe their card, they get tokens, and they can spend it. People don't always know that they can double that by using their SNAP with us to get double up food bucks. So we need help getting the word out about this in particular. We know that there's a big need in our community, but we are not seeing folks come out to the market to spend their dollars with us. That's okay. They're spending it somewhere else, but we know that there is a need and they can double their dollars with our market. So I put those numbers on there just as comparison. $39 down from $100 the previous year, $42 down from $123 with SNAP and double up food bucks. So if you know folks, or again, just knowing that information to get the word out about it. So we have 31 vendors, 17 weeks. And then on the 3rd Thursday is our special events. So we have special guests come out. We'll have public safety night in June, community night in July, back to school in August, and health and wellness night in September. If you've never been to the farmers market, I personally invite you to come check it out and be a part of the community and join us as a guest. So one other thing. So with the chamber, I also get the privilege of managing the Chamber Foundation. So we are the recipients of a $30,000 grant from Iowa Rural Development Council. With partners finding matching funds, we were able to facilitate a grant program this last year. 13 businesses were able to get $68,000 that number is what is our gap, not actually what's granted. The $68,000 to support businesses in buying equipment, in building improvements, in marketing. We know the last year has been difficult, and so how can we support our businesses to improve upon that, to make sure that they're still here in the future? Perry was one of 4 communities in Iowa to get this grant funding, and so really privileged to be able to facilitate this program for our businesses. And then this is my last slide. I promise I'm the only one that went over 10 minutes. But we're always doing something fun for our member businesses to promote shopping and dining local. We want people to support all of businesses, so just doing business in town. So we keep track of referrals. So if people call us, and we keep a tally of looking up a phone number or an email for different businesses, and you'd be surprised what kind of calls we get at the chamber. But one thing that we're doing in June, the first 2 weeks, is bingo. A couple years ago, we tried a Periopoly, so a Monopoly game. It was a little bit too complicated. I tend to overdo things. It's fine. But we're doing bingo. Everyone has played bingo. People love bingo. So we have 24 participating businesses. There are 12 different cards available. So if you're shopping around with a friend, you can both have 2 different cards to make it fun. So we're encouraging people to shop and dine local, get a bingo. There'll be 4 chances to win if you just get a bingo with 5 spots. And we're also providing a blackout option. So if you want to go to all of the businesses, turn in your completed cards to the chamber, and you could get a chance to win Perry bucks. So that's my last call to action as far as getting out and get involved with the community. I'm going to wrap things up now with just a thank you all for joining us. This Power Hour, I know I've been made fun of for the name, but it's really a matter of, highlighting those projects, opportunities, wisdom, excitement, and resources for the community, having a platform for everyone to learn more about the community and share information. There's a lot of great things going on, whether it's the chamber, Economic Development, the city, and the school. We've worked so well together this past year in particular because we had to, but then also because we wanted to. We're all on the same team, and being able to have 50 people here, maybe 60, get more information, learn more about our community, to share that, and hopefully next September, or in September, we'll have even more people looking for updates on these projects we talked about today, and sharing more information. So save the date. Tuesday, September 23rd will be our next one. Hopefully we outgrow this space and we need to go to La Poste. So you can save that date and join us, and we'll hear from presenters again. So thank you all. And then if there are questions, I think we have a few minutes, or you can scoot out. It's 12:24. Thank you. All the questions already?
I have one for Sven. Is there a finalized plan? May I have the pleasure of guessing your question? If not yours, somebody in this room. Plans for intersection improvements at Willis and 141?
No.
Is that yours? Then somebody's.
No.
But yeah.
Mine is for the downtown area coming next year. Are there finalized plans for that yet?
Yep.
Is it
So
online?
the downtown project, we have, I'm going to try and say this as kindly as possible. We have been working diligently with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development on their different steps that we get to go through for environmental, cultural resources studies. So basically everything that Jeff talked about, of all the hoops to jump through for development, times 10. And we're just in the final stages of, I think we have HUD clearance. We're just waiting for state of Iowa clearance. And here in the next month, I believe those plans will be on a council agenda to get put out to bid, with, I think, later in July or early August, we'll be accepting those bids and then awarding and being able to start working with the contractor on schedules. So still really depends on the contractor as far as, the size of the company and how how fast they're able to work and move through the project will really determine the timeline of how quickly that gets done. So, yeah, it's been fun. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to attend. My name is Greg Benton. I'm lead pastor at New Day Assembly. With the current bill that was signed by the governor regarding the relaxing of fireworks restrictions in the state of Iowa, will that be impacting Perry's policies regarding not only sale but shooting of fireworks within the city limits?
Yeah. So we have had much discussion in the last week on that. So for those that don't know, the state of Iowa passed a law that prohibits cities from not allowing fireworks. I think the 3rd and 4th of July, as well as December 31st. So that bill preempts any city ordinance, which currently we do not allow fireworks in city limits. So with that state law and being signed by the governor, that overrides us. So we will be going through and just doing a cleanup, more or less, of our city ordinance that would say, fireworks are prohibited unless otherwise authorized by state code or something like that. I'm going to let Dwayne Dalen figure out the exact language because I'm not a lawyer. But yes, fireworks will, per the state of Iowa, be allowed July 3rd, 4th, and December 31st.
Sven, is there any end time? Can they shoot them all night long, or is there a certain deadline they have to follow? Or?
That I cannot remember off the top of my head. I want to say there are some times, but Mr. Chris Cohey, our marketing and engagement coordinator for the city of Perry, will be putting out information and guidance to the community in the next month or so. So more will come out on that. But yeah, that was an interesting one to learn about that we didn't learn about until it got signed. So that was fun. But
Kathy Benton from New Day Assembly. This is for Mr. Wicks. Out of all of those graduates, is there any information as to how many of them are going on to college?
Yes. In our commencement or graduation, we had different percentages. So I think it's 66% of the students are going to a 4-year, 2-year, or a trade school.
Okay.
And also with that, we had over 70% that attended DMAT classes, at least one class.
Uh-huh.
And then we had the highest number or highest percent of students who were first generation college grantees. So
Okay.
and that was in the 60% also.
Sure.
60% of those 151 are first generation. So that was kind of cool.
That's cool. Okay, second question.
Yep.
Has there been any studies in the school administration as to how many of these students who graduate from Perry schools, go to college, and then come back and invest in the community?
Good question. I don't have a percent of that. I do know that we tried to, with ZMAC and even the city, trying to attract staff members, Perry educators, to come back. And we have a few of those.
Okay.
So that percent, though, that you're talking about graduate and then come back to Perry, I don't have that percent, but I
Okay.
can talk to the counselors. So
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's at least 2. and 3 of us right here. Okay, 4.
There we go. So the percent I just saw right there, if this was a sampling, I think I saw 7 hands out of, how many were here? Oh my goodness, we're at 20% maybe, so 15, I don't know if it's that high.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, again, thank you all for joining us. It is 12:30, so if you have additional questions, just hang back and speak with our specific presenters. I hope everyone learned something today. And again, thank you to Doug with Member Communications for producing our lunch.